Good morning. Firstly, I advise you that my English is very bad. I hope you can understand my speech in English. Dear friends, first of all, I should be noted that migration is not an exclusively African case. On the contrary, it is a timeless and universal phenomenon. It will continue to exist independently of a restrictive policy adopted. I believe that this is the reality that we must anticipate and appreciate. At present, the intensity of the movement of the people is astounding. Man does not stand still. We move in search of a new horizon. Is it possible to monitor this human flow? This desire to move is also a consequence of major technological change and intensive and diversified circulation of information. It is a typical contemporary phenomenon. In Africa, one of the characteristics of immigration is that 70% of the movement of people is within the continent. The question that comes to us is how to manage and monitor it, restrict mobility or facilitate mobility. When I think of my fellows Cape Verdeans who immigrate a lot, what do I expect for them? Certainly, the facilitation of mobility. We have spent more than 40 years discussing this with our Angolan brothers until a positive response has recently been achieved. We must think of intra-African migration, which unfortunately is generate some unpleasant social conflicts. What about the xenophobia? What about racism? How to assess that? What are the causes? Any durable solution must be seen in a continental and global context. The understanding recently achieved in Marrakesh under the impetus of the United Nations are encouraging. However, efforts must be pursued tenaciously. The search for solution and improvement to migration should be seen in a framework of a medium-term program with the interested participation of African governments and their specific institutions, and with the participation of affected civil society, which would include stakeholder and philanthropic institutions. In my view, this civil society organization should not want to replace public institutions. It will be advisable for them to act in a cooperative, complementarity, and subsidiarity perspective. Appropriate and beneficial public policies are crucial to find effective and sustainable solutions. Government should be encouraged to develop and implement the necessary and effective measures and programs. However, civil society and its social institutions should not wait for the decision from above. They must mobilize and act with a framework of interaction and complementarity between public initiative and corporate initiative. This should presuppose on the part of government a public policy and administrative decentralization and sharing responsibility with social organizations. Where would the stakeholders be? They would be the supporters of popular participation and the motivation of the societies. They would also be the agent of the social and the cultural transformation indispensable to overcome social immobility, stagnation, and fatalism, which are characteristics of rural and poor society. Acting within a framework of interaction and subsidiarity, stakeholders would provide what may be missing for philanthropic foundation, and this would compensate stakeholders with the indispensable research they usually lack. I will try to identify some areas of intervention that seem to me most interesting and the priority to overcome immobilism and social contract. I am thinking of basic education, civil training, discovery and awakening of hidden and crystallized spiritual potential, in the specific training for the exercise of a social leadership, objective and intelligible information on national or foreign social and economic realities, in defense of the environment, in technical and vocational training, in the promotion of economic and socio-cultural activities with employment and the dynamics of economic and social cultural development. As a conclusion, what makes young Africans move? Certainly poverty and unemployment. These are the two social evils to eradicate necessarily. These are the reflections that I find interesting for this occasion. I hope that you understand my English. Thank you.